Last year, President Obama gave the keynote speech. This year, they have the Queen. Queen Latifah is in Chicago to address the annual conference of a media company called BlogHer. Last year, President Obama gave the keynote speech. This year, they have the Queen. Queen Latifah is in Chicago to address the annual conference of a media company called BlogHer. BlogHer offers a voice to a network of mostly female bloggers. We're joined now by one of the founders of BlogHer, Jory Jardins. Jory Jardins, welcome to Chicago tonight. Welcome back to your hometown, Chicago.
Thank you very
First of all,
much.
for our viewers who've not heard of BlogHer, what is BlogHer?
BlogHer is a participatory media company. We started as bloggers and have expanded to include digital influencers as the social media platforms have grown, from Pinterest to Twitter to Facebook and all of the above.
So tell me how it works. I mean, if I'm a blogger and if I want a relationship with BlogHer, what is that relationship?
Well, there's several kinds of relationships. Anyone can participate in conversations happening on the site at blogher.com. But we also represent bloggers on a business level. So there are some bloggers that have decided to grow their platforms and to actually monetize their platforms. And we represent those influencers with advertisers.
Because the stereotype of bloggers is many times that they love to write, they're having fun, but that there's no money in it. You challenge that notion?
Oh, yes, I do.
And so tell me exactly how it works. If I'm a blogger and if I want to have this business relationship with you, how does that work?
Well, and I should be clear that actually some bloggers don't make a lot of money and they don't want to make a lot of money. You don't have to make money as a blogger. But for those that do, yes, you can, and it takes time. What they need to do, though, is to develop that community. So when they work with us, we help to grow them. We help to grow their platform. We help to educate the community. That's why they come to BlogHer events. They want education. They want to network with other bloggers. They want to learn the space so that they can position themselves better and monetize their blogs.
So in other words, say I'm a blogger and I've got a really good idea about whatever the topic is and I'm very good at it and I'm attracting a lot of readers, and so then what? A company might want to sponsor me?
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
And brands have come to us to really help make that introduction. You know, if you think about back in 2007, wow, so long ago, it was like the Wild West in the blogosphere. So 6 years ago. It was like the Wild West, and brands didn't know how to interact with these very opinionated people on the web. And the other side of the coin, bloggers didn't know if they wanted to work with brands. How do we do this? And how do I keep my credibility? These people had been building their communities for a long time, and this helped to help them work with brands in a way that they felt maintain that credibility and that community.
So getting back to the issue of stereotypes, so many people might think that female bloggers, that there's an emphasis on parenting, on mommy blogs, and you do have those, but give us an idea of other topics that are part of the spectrum of BlogHer.
Well, BlogHer's biggest category is actually food. Huge. It's a huge category for us. Of course, parenting is a big category. Another one is just life. If we, in fact, when we ask our attendees what is it that they blog about the most, the #1 category is life, which is a category that pretty much encapsulates everything.
Yeah, that's all encompassing.
Right.
When you think about your company and the success stories that have been connected with the company as far as individual bloggers, is there a blogger that sort of comes to mind as someone who just sort of started small, had a great idea, and well, tell me about it.
Well, I'm inspired by a blogger named Ree Drummond, who writes a blog called The Pioneer Woman. Ree was a woman who was working from home. She was actually homeschooling her 4 children and was working on the ranch. Her husband is a rancher in Oklahoma. And she was a little isolated and really used blogging as a platform to get out there and to talk to other people. And really, next thing she knew, she was generating this audience because she had such an authentic voice. And then she thought, if I actually posted some of my recipes, what would that be like? Well, she's one of the biggest food bloggers ever. And she has a show on the Food Network now and 2 New York Times bestsellers. And she's going to be keynoting at BlogHer this year.
Wow. Well, listen.
That is a good story.
Okay, well, let's talk about the conference, because what's the, you talk about this woman in Oklahoma as feeling kind of isolated.
Yeah.
Is one of the reasons you have this convention to sort of overcome that kind of isolation?
Yeah, the #1 reason is to actually connect with people that you are meeting online. I think, though, that as blogging has become more of a professional pursuit, we are seeing more bloggers that want to come in and learn how to build that platform. So the programming really does address the whole spectrum, from the brand new blogger who's trying to figure this whole thing out, to the blogger who's established a community over the course of years and now wants to really build her platform and her business.
You know, there was, as you just alluded, that once upon a time, blogging was seen as sort of, okay, you love to do it, but it's kind of an amateur form of writing. Do you think that's changed for good?
Yes. Yes, I think that now, if you look at even the more traditional media outlets, they have bloggers that are now interacting in real time on real stories. I don't think traditional media is going away, but I do think it's enhanced now with blogging, and that is a very professional activity.
Speaking of professional activity, what kinds of guidelines do you give your bloggers to sort of up their game so that it is more professional, less amateur?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is to maintain the community. Some bloggers, and I know there are some that are doing wonderful things and making a lot of money and doing, I mean, that's great, but that's not that common. So some people come in thinking, well, if I just start blogging, the advertisers will come. But they don't build the community that you need to actually get those advertisers interested. They want the authentic community builders. So you've got to take the time. You've got to go in and you've really got to write over a course of time, really focus on your content, and really focus on building a community. It's not a fast thing.
Is there a content area that right now you think is unaddressed, that you think, you know, we have the food bloggers, we have the relationship bloggers, but what we really need is fill in the blank?
Well, I think that it's a growing field of the professional bloggers that are helping others figure this out. One of the things that is really starting to come across the entire...
You mean bloggers who blog about effective blogging?
Of course. Of course, and making money off of it. Think about this now. There's Pinterest, there's Twitter, there's Facebook. There are all these platforms that did not exist, and blogging has completely evolved since it did when we first started the company in 2005. So now, how do you use all of those platforms to actually grow your blogging practice?
Let's get back to your company, because as I was reading about it, and candidly, I was not familiar with the company until I got ready for the segment. That one of the observations is that you have sort of an outsized influence relative to your numbers. Why do you think that is? Well,
we're a bunch of media geeks, and we love our media. I mean, if you look at the typical blogger and the one who is really taking it on, she's got thousands of Twitter followers, she's got a very large Facebook following, some of them have millions of Pinterest followers already and are embracing these platforms. We are the ones that are the first movers in these platforms and trying to build them right away. So we tend to trend on Twitter when we have our events.
I understand it's not all business at your conference, that there's a new component, a fashion show.
Yes.
Explain what that is.
Well, this was something we wanted to do because, of course, we love our fashion. But the other part of this is that there's some really compelling stories in the blogosphere, and we wanted to celebrate those women who are now the models in the fashion show. So we actually do a search, and we get the right people who have some amazing stories from the year to be the models, and then we usually partner with the brand. In this case, it's Ulta, the beauty retailer, who's going to be providing the hair and makeup, and we actually are partnering with a local Chicago company called Gift Bar, who's providing all of the clothing via their boutiques that they partner with.
Jory de Jardins, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with the conference.
Thanks so much.
The 9th Annual BlogHer Conference takes place tomorrow through Saturday at McCormick Place and the Sheraton Chicago. And you can visit our website to read an interview with Pat Dunnigan. She's a Chicago area writer, blogger, and journalist who will head a panel on the anatomy of humor writing during this weekend's convention.